Hello, good people. Brad Miller here, the producer of the HeavenEarth Church podcast, coming to you from my home studio. I want to say a word about the video which you're about to see, where we had just a wonderful conversation with Melissa Bryant, one of the great people involved with the HeavenEarth Church podcast. We've recorded her podcast at our church studio inside of HeavenEarth Church, which we hope that you'll check out sometime. And many of you may want to become a part of the podcast at time, where we share the story of HeavenEarth Church in order to share it with others. The quality of this particular recording with Melissa on the video is herky-jerky and with some pops and clicks in it, which I'm not really happy about. But I know there's some great value in the message that Melissa shared that I really want you to hear. So I want to provide the video for you here so you can check that out. But moreover, I really want to encourage you to check out the audio version of this podcast, which is clean, clear, crisp audio. And you'll get the message and the transcript of the message that Melissa shared. And you just head over to the church website, heavenearthchurch.org, and look for the tab that says podcast. And you can go there and you'll get the audio podcast. You're going to get to hear her message. I apologize for the quality of the video recording. We had some technical glitches in the studio. We're getting those worked out. So in upcoming episodes of the HeavenEarth Church podcast, you're going to hear good, clear audio and you'll see clear video as well. And we hope that you enjoy the podcast. If you want to be a part of this in some way, just reach out to me. You can always reach out at my email, brad@drbradmiller.com. Right now, I want you to enjoy this conversation with HeavenEarth Church member, Melissa Bryant. Welcome to our conversation.
For having me.
Awesome. Well, Melissa, where's hometown for you?
Far.
Franklin. All right. Tell us a little bit about growing up in Franklin, about home life or just something growing up.
Okay. Timely history in Franklin. I think I counted back one generation county. Worked at the hospital my whole life. Same that I was born in, she worked in, my dad was born in. Growing up in Franklin, we moved to the Edinburgh. Franklin, I actually went to Edinburgh schools.
Okay.
And then always went to Franklin I was Franklin Christian Fellowship at the time. So I felt like I was kind of, it was good.
Well, you kind of answered one of the questions. I was going to ask you where you went to school. I went to Edinburgh.
Yeah. And then I went to, again, didn't go very far.
What did you study?
College. Loved it. You need to get a degree after that. So I got my medical counseling after that.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, so what has that led you into career-wise? What do you do that way?
I am a school counselor at Baker Intermediate School, 5th and 6th grade, and I rotate with the kids. So we'll stay with 5th graders for 2 years and 6th graders, and that's the 12 range. Super fun.
Well, tell me what's super fun about that. Something that's super fun about that.
I really like the age group because they're young enough to still be silly with you. And so I feel like I do and maybe like silly gestures with them. But they're old enough to do like those more advanced. So you can have some pretty heavy things or do some philosophical ideas.
Yeah. And as you want to do some kind of challenging circumstances. Is that fair?
Fair. You just need to DCS a lot or working with different home situations, experience death, and offering support, and just lots of people would be so like the secure stuff. We just always have a running list. So just lots of different ways for it.
So is the area, the topic of housing insecurity, that's kind of tension in terms of what you've been working with there?
One of my focuses in the office, I mean, I do my daily job, but we have a food pantry and a clothing where we keep resources for kids and at the school. Oh. Yeah. In the last couple of years, that was a priority because I inherited stuff from the previous year, just been organized and make it to give the things away and to know what we have.
Okay. So very important to your helping provide not only your educational circumstances, but real life stuff. They're all integrated, right?
Yeah.
Your physical needs, your integrated education. First, HeavenEarth Church, we like to talk about integration also with your spiritual life and that type of thing as well. Tell me a little bit about your church history, your spiritual history growing up. You mentioned you're a part of the Christian.
Yeah. So that church kind of grew from another church. It was kind of in the same church my growing up period through high school, a little bit of college. So strong, non-denominational in the sense of, what we see, where I think there are like some strong roots to that. I've heard other people disagree, but just like a strong of centering your life around Jesus, and parents who it was a big priority to them.
So your parents were involved with this church as well?
Yeah, absolutely. On leadership at points, and my dad has his own relationship, and yeah, important.
Oh, that. And then, so what got you connected, or did you first have church on your radar, so to speak? How did you get aware about church here?
Yeah, so in college, a lot of young Christians, you get a little bit about some of the thoughts or ideas you were given or you inherited, and you still whether like, this is what I believe. And so at that point, I kind of realized the church that I'd grown up in, the space for me, it didn't feel like it anymore. To just a lot of hopping a bit, trying different churches with my mom. And then,
so she was kind of doing some similar.
Yeah, my whole family kind of met church for a while. And back of that community, it's and they love it. I've here, and I'm very. But yeah, doing a little bit of that. Working nights made it hard to go to church at all, so I had kind of periods of nothing. And I was recommended after like 5 years of doing that, and I went to the web. And Ross has some on there that just shed some light. That was a place I was very interested.
I'm really interested in what you said. You were church shopping relatively often from people looking around. What were some things that you kind of thought, oh, something I can resonate with, and other thing, no, not for me? What were some things you discovered in your shopping period?
One of the biggest things, the woman was finding a place where I felt like I had a place they belonged. As a single woman, I really think sometimes the church doesn't know us, and so they're a place for me as a single woman to connect. Because it's very natural for mothers to come, for couples to go into a couples group, or even go into a group. A single woman felt different. And then the way church did with the scripture and women was to be submissive, to be quiet, and loud and proud. In leadership, I was looking for a place that, as a woman, I felt like I belonged. I was listening.
You feel like you wanted your voice in any way, or anything along that line, right?
I mean, no, the rest of the congregation, people have to listen. Outing to be where union matter. It faked in that way.
Yeah, and it's doctrine also.
Yes,
talked about their understanding of scripture is different for things that and that's part of what you were.
Yeah,
it sounds like
probably the biggest part. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a huge factor for you. Sounds like. Good. Well, you were recommended. So I checked out the blog post and the website. And do you remember impressions really came to check out something here at Heaven? Give me some sense about your first impression.
I remember coming in winter. If you go to church here, handed me a Christmas card from her, and I was like, "Wow, everyone is very friendly, like receiving Christmas cards." And then people the concept. We don't often call we call it like a Sunday conversation. That was so intriguing to me that our pastor would ask a question and would answer. It wasn't cool. Everyone kind of had a place to speak, and I kind of love that of the sometimes.
So you kind of had a bit of an aha moment. So is that not a part of your experience prior in churches?
No, in churches you sit and you listen. It's lecture style.
Right.
And badly, opinion a little bit. Being in a con like that and communing ideas is very small group therapy based, and it felt like a style of like therapy.
And tell me about a kind of a next part of the initial part is your first impressions. You got a Christmas card and you kind of observed the conversational styles and that type of thing. And then there comes a point when people often kind of take a little bit of a risk or next step to make connection. Was there any kind of a moment, Melissa?
I volunteered to work in ministry. Growing up in the church, alongside projects where like your bonds are formed and, that family feeling. So I work with kids. I work with kids every day. One of them. So I knew that would probably be my next route. I'm not going to join worship team, be a door greeter, but kids I can handle.
You did that. Shared with the children's church, concurrent service.
Yes.
And so tell me a little bit of how that went. Just who'd you meet? A lot of the kids did you meet there? How'd that go in getting to children's ministry?
I think unexpected is first started. It was just one back with the kids, not necessarily the adults making connections with the kids. And then when you make connections, you bring them back out to church. You start making connections with parents.
Absolutely.
So that was kind of an unexpected route. I thought I was more going to start building those really my like teacher, but just parents.
Yeah. And your point of connection, then you mentioned earlier about wanting connection, big connection with people, kind of similar age group or other women thing, maybe the single folks or anything along that line. Like any connections along that line or make kids or anything along that line.
Well, if you church here, you've coffee with Ross at some point.
Yeah.
And so I think it was this I got coffee with Ross. I love this church, but my age, just my connection. I was making connections with parents, and that was great. I did feel like that was, and Ross and I talked about it, and he had a small group to start, and the connection became a small group outside of church service, where there were 20s and 30s coming together, lots of different backgrounds. So I like Simon just felt like we had a mixed match.
You were different, but you had some similarities and some more or less age group type of thing.
Yeah.
So tell me how that, and I know you were part of the kind of help. And so tell me.
Yeah. So I was part of it happening, but I was part of the drive as needed.
Yeah.
And so the first round of it, our small groups work this way, where it has like an 8-week cycle, and then you break for a bit. It starts a leader in the first round, and it was great to meet our small. Interesting because I think we call them tiny church. For some people, that is their church for the week. They don't come to Sunday service. They do, and that is church. And style church is really beautiful. And after we didn't, one of the leaders took a step back. I became one of the. So we're about to start. I think it might be the 3rd or 4th cycle, and I'll be leading that.
About a moment there. You don't have to give any names or anything like that, but just kind of moment when you kind of hit, okay, this is kind of a something cool is happening, or even a God moment that might have been happy to say.
I mean, my first thought, I invited a friend to join, and I won't say her. We did college together. I know, but she's visual, and said, this is kind of our top. Feel like I want to, and she was like into it. Kate did like extra, like read every time we kind of were just to do. She like came with like pages of notes and added perspective to the conversation, because I think sometimes a church setting, small group setting, you run into having a lot with the same mixes, or like all of them being in the church and being and she came and just kind of wrecked some of that in ways. Our case is to be open to the question, and I just love the energy and continues to bring. She's probably like one of the biggest supporters of this group, and getting X'd out of it.
It sounds like that was just a really fulfilling experience for you, that you invited her and she added so much, and you know, I assume you'd get some out of it too, or she would have been
community aspect.
The community aspect also. All right, one of the things that is we say around Heftions on the website, and said the effect of, if you don't think you fit in here, tell me, Melissa, how do you resonate with that? Do you think it's true? And if so, so.
I think it's true. One of my first revelations after meeting with people is we have in this church a lot of church and maybe like not positive baggage, and I don't, trauma is a good, but a group of people that are like, maybe I never want to go to church again and enjoy it. What I have is a space, a lot of different ideas. And I have told Ross before, like, positivity in church drives me up a walk. I've been
TL thing, whatever.
Yeah. Told before, like, we'll just enjoy the journey. And like, who struggles with like mental health sometimes and has like, no, this journey, I smile through it. And I think when people hear that is beyond, how this sucks, is awful, and being real about it makes it easier. I know. So
that community aspect comes into play there. The community just enjoy it, whether it sucks or not.
Yeah.
Awesome. And so seen some examples of that kind of out of your own life, and maybe some may not have fit in place else, whatever, have found a place here.
Yeah. Where like the sermons maybe didn't hit home the same way, because the message was just like, God's got you. And like Ross is very open about his own like times and no, this is hard and I'm really trying. And I think there's real in that and human, that it gives us all a space. Okay, we can be
responsibility and stuff that happened, you know, mental health or physical illness or raising kids or single life, any number of things that go on with people's lives that are happening.
Vulnerable. Yeah.
And I assume that you kind of resonate this crown, and so you're kind of, I could tell you analyze those things a little bit. That's the type of person that you are. And then you also live it out in your work as well.
Yeah.
You're dealing with people, because real life meet with the psychological, how you pay the bills and things. It sounds like you're helping you navigate world. Is that fair?
And I think it's dating, because I was going to push through life no matter what, but it's dating to hear like doing it wrong, or like a lot of people in church don't want to be bad Christians, or I should just be hearing God more, or I just need to lean in more in this. No, sometimes it's hard. It isn't because wrong, it's reading the Bible enough, and that's where community comes in.
I think there's some kind of work in the sense of times when you're good and sometimes you're not good, and you think rather than kind of a ritualistic or rote, part of what's going on. Well, Melissa, one of the things we say, in fact, in the mission of the church is that we're just to make a lasting impact on our community. So let's unpack a little bit too. Order statement, statement, and are we living that out, being lived out?
I think the church is. I try to do it in my daily life, but I'm so proud of joined around that we had the hurricane tornado. It's like, no, we don't have those. The transfer, and I was so proud that our church took such a leadership point in trying to offer resources for recovery ministry here in Recovery Church. It's like may be separate from the church. They may do it on a different night in the week. It completely changes. We consider church here, and the way that we just like space for mistakes and to welcome people back. So I think that lasting impact, in a way where we're resources and a good example for how we can be present to the people around, and a very good showing how we can take as a community.
Are you aware about these partnerships that the church has, agencies in the community, and it's a part of what we do here as well? Tell me about this in the small group. But have you seen in the meetings what we might call kind of hey, this is now my church, or there's a God, or there's something going on here. Really, what I love of others.
So an aha moment for like this was
like in your church, or kind of God is in my life through this experience.
It would probably be the first time that I Ross. Like I had, those great experiences in the just visiting and kind of being quiet, and would prefer is to kind of be an observer at the beginning anyway. But connecting with Ross, meeting for coffee, getting to share testimony, like the right word. It was just like, share, Matt, these are the hard things that like I'm dealing with, and like the deacon that I started with my faith from to like that's like, okay, this is what I was given in doctrine. Is that what I believe? What does it line up with the Bible? And sharing, honestly becoming emotional. And the way he handled it was like, oh, there's a sir in this church to be who I am in every step, and I don't have to just make it be good or perfect.
So it sounds like yourself to be vulnerable in that conversation in such a way that you felt safe enough to share those things. And so there was kind of a God thing. That's what I like, just from my perspective.
I think it into like, it was like, I can get emotional probably at any time. The response that I received, what kept me. It wasn't like cringing, or wasn't like shying away from like these ideas, or wasn't saying like, oh, be having a thought like that, because that leads you this road. It was like, listen to God, this is hard. It was just a response, and I've gotten that in the church too.
It's kind of started with Pastor Ross Stackhow's kind of that openness to receive you and your vulnerability, and anything close to judgmental or condemning or anything on, right?
Perfect.
So the vibe of the raw is resonant. You agree with?
I completely would agree with that. Yeah.
So let's kind of take this whole conversation here, Melissa, and then take it more step. We've really, I would say, thank you today, some vulnerability about what you're all about here. And you've shared here with some other people in your life. Hey, there's a person in your life, coworker or friend, who's going through whatever, some tough thing. Maybe they've had maybe there's been some relationship problems. So job related, they're having some tough times. They've kind of in you. And so you're my friend, I just wanted, could a part of your response be, and would you be comfortable with response? Well, hey, glad to listen, counselor and so on, but maybe HeavenEarth does something for you as well. Could that be part of that conversation you might have with that person?
Yeah, I think potentially. Obviously, depends how it's going. But what it is, found a space here, a really unique. I, I mean, feel like just visiting could be a really good experience.
And then, so you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Part of an event here, whether it's a small group or a worship experience or something that's awesome. So let's just say that there's people, mentioned, explored and went a little to the church by getting on the website, blog post, and some of the other things that happen there. And the assumption that other people out have our church about what we're sharing. So what kind of things might you share with someone who might be checking out Heaven Earth Church? What kind of things would you share with them that share in terms of what we have here and what might?
Okay. Describing HeavenEarth Church as accepting place, a place where question, not feel any shame about asking questions, or there's like the whole concept of talking in church when we're session, and like in that we challenge him things he said. He asks us what our response is to someone, and everyone's saying positive, and someone, well, actually that one's really hard for me. So I think there's this 4 questions in a healthy, civil, supportive way. And so if you're looking where you can free squat judgment, I think the place.
That's a great way for this around. Anything else you just want to share out of our before we close our?
I think of the things that I really care about.
Yeah. It sounds like you really care about.
I do.
Come here.
Yeah.
Awesome. Indeed, this church is all about helping people to make it to God in such a way that is reasonable and open, and a place where vulnerable people can have a safe place to explore their faith without condemnation, without judgment and steps. So I just want to say a big thank you to Melissa Bryant for being our guest here today, an Earth Church podcast. Brad Miller, the podcast. We invite always folks to check out HeavenEarth Church and be in conversation with our pastor, Ross Stackhouse. Go to our heavenearthchurch.org.